and back to it. Okay, easy normal. So, the back of the wheels, like, do the tedious shit first. Get that out of the way. This will not take long. Big brush, and you're covering a relatively small area. Don't use too much thinners, but just, it washes down a little bit quite well, rather than the sort of, but yeah, you get it to the right consistency and it goes easy. Again, we're not painting the whole. Yeah. Yeah, it's not difficult. I've just got to work the paint in. Especially on lead. Like, don't be afraid. Pewter always seems to have print, sort of mould imperfections. I mean, a lot of why I had of how this has gone together has been adapting to imperfections in the mould. But this is not a Tamiya kit. This is something altogether a bit different, and a different kettle of fish. Like, you're not going to if your only experience of making models is a Tamiya kit and you don't know about pinning and glue, improvising, you will have a hard time with this. But it's also the only one I could find in this scale of this kit, of this vehicle. So just get the paint in there. I think I got in most of it. It's a bit weird doing it with a camera in front of me, but we'll get there. You can spray this stuff. I don't advise it. It's horrible shit. Like, and it's not good for pets in any way, shape, sense, or form to aerosolize. White spirit is fucking horrible shit. And as my cat is there and I don't have an airbrush, well, kind of solves that one. I think I will do the fronts. I think we can. Again, not difficult. You should just get the paint to the right consistency. A lot of it, of Humbrol work, is about getting the paint right in terms to its ratio with its thinners. Do not use straight from the top. The good stuff is at the bottom, and you do need to get it out with some sort of stirring stick, and it will come up like a sludge. But it goes on much thinner than the acrylics when you're brush painting. I mean, airbrushing, that's a different matter. But for straight brush painting, this is a lot thinner. I mean, you can pile the paint on and fuck it up. But if you do it right, let's have a look. Nice. Easy. Like that. We are dealing with there we go. The paint equivalent of the sludge at the bottom. Well, no, not even the paint equivalent. The sludge at the bottom. That's the bit you want. That is the secret to Humbrol paints. The bit you actually want is at the bottom of the pot. Although it does look like with the newer ones that I've got, they're trying to imitate the acrylics, which they shouldn't be trying to do, and change their formula slightly for a more suspended consistency of the paint, whereas with their old consistencies it would fall out of, the pigment would fall out of suspension, much like this one has. And form a sludge at the bottom, which is brilliant because that sludge is like gold. It's awesome to paint with. Whoops. And this isn't complicated, it's just simple brush painting. It's just getting paint in all the areas. I mean, it's, I don't know if you noticed, but that wheel and that wheel are separate. There was a spigot moulded into the resin, but yeah, it wasn't a great moulding, and they never are for things like that, so it's not really a criticism of the kit particularly. You know, you don't, it's a resin kit, you don't, it's not a Tamiya kit. So I think I cut those spigots off and just glued the wheels to the track. But as I paint, you can see the pinhole there and there. For butchers. No. Yeah, I think we got that. I mean, you won't see most of this, that it's in the body, but it's worth. It's like that bit where do you build the stuff? It's like building a full interior kit and then gluing everything down so that you can't see it inside. You know that's in the model, but you can't really prove it without breaking it. You know, do you put the details in for your own satisfaction, or do you put them in to be seen? I think a lot of it should be for your own satisfaction. This is why I'm not a world-class painter, because I do it for I do it for fun. I mean, my oil painting on canvas is not bad. Well, it's pretty good. But my model painting is always something that I've always done for fun. You know, my obsession with olive drab. But yeah. Right. Make sure the last bits are on. Let that dry. I'm going to paint the underside of the turret first, because I figure that'll get the most holding whilst I'm working, And if I paint that first, it'll dry first. And it'll, much like I only painted the bottom of oh shit snags. It's got a bit thin. Bit too much thinners. But it does help with coverage. Well, getting it everywhere. That can soon be remedied with a bit more pigment. Like, there we go. And I'm not too bothered. There might need to be a second coat, but I can use a different green and just have an accent, or just put another, if there are any bits where I've missed, just rework it. Not that this lot's going to be seen, I mean, that. Now we start on top. Again, this covers really well in small areas. I have a nasty feeling some of that will go glossy, which is a pain. Doesn't matter. We'll sort it. There's a lot of surfaces on this. Like all of the vision ports that will have to go blue. I think they're blue. But there's quite a lot of surface detail. I really like these sculpts actually. And turn it around. Get in there. Get under that hatch. There we go. Thing is, this is quite good leveling paint. It doesn't, I mean, you can fuck it up. You really can. But it tends to want to level out. As I say, this is kind of a complex one to build, and I built it off camera because I didn't know if I was going to fuck it up or not, because it's eminently possible to do so. Crikey. If I hold that gently. Do these last storage bins. Did I get that? No. There we go. Yeah. This sort of stippling is the best way I've found not to leave too obvious brush marks. It's not perfect, and I will have to go over this with other colours, notably black, being a British scimitar of the 80s, so I'm not too concerned by coverage, in that if worse comes to it I can hide it under black paint, and I'll paint the barrel and gun later when I'm holding on to the pin I've just held on to particularly. But once this lot's dried, which shouldn't take long, let's get the last bits on there. On the damn it. And I put that down to rescue the everything that went flying. Right, I think I've got everything for now. Everything I can do.